My most important question, can you hear me? The hardest part of the program is over, the technical side, getting hooked in. I'm just thrilled to see you all here. I'm glad to be here myself. I got a good excuse to come today. I got to meet and hold a new great-grandson, and I like to be in Minnesota. I have good reasons to be, with two sons and their families here, and to speak on this topic in context of John's work. And they suggest I start with 30 seconds. It'll take me a minute and a half to describe how old he was before he got into this line. Is this a new interest of his? When he was 5 years old, a Sunday school teacher came to me in October. He's a Lutheran, I'm a Lutheran, I was a pastor. Sunday school teacher came up and said, "You better talk to your son, he lies." And I said, "Not John." Still haven't caught him lying. No, he doesn't lie. He claims that he spent a week at a hotel with Martin Luther. Yeah. Well, at dinner, at noon, we call it dinner, I said, "John, your Sunday school teacher says that you claim that you spent a week at a hotel with Martin Luther." "Yeah, I was at Hampton, Virginia last summer. He played with us, he put us up in a tree and he'd play with us and so on." It was Martin Luther King. I had done morning lectures, he did afternoon sermons and so on. When a Lutheran minister's kid knows Martin Luther King before he knows Martin Luther, you know a little bit where his priorities are. But we've kept a wonderful dialogue going, a large family, and every dinner table had this kind of thing going. And John has always been at it in a very persistent way. I try to discourage him sometimes in college in a national essay on welfare reform. What business did he have entering it? And I tell him, he got more hopeful all the time. I said, "John, the higher you get, the more disappointed you're going to fall. I'm going to win." And he did. So we lived happily ever after. My topic, bringing, in a sense, a rescue of a wonderful concept, social justice. Take the two words. Social means you're not alone in the world, it's plural, and justice is the opposite of injustice, which is a pretty good thing. You put the two together. Now, you can taint any word. You can take the word democracy, republic. You can take any word like that and twist it around. The People's Republic of China wasn't a republic, and we know that. So you can twist social justice, and I'm going to spend my opening minutes tonight trying to rescue the word from the concepts in which it's now getting bantered about. Let me say, first of all, you don't have to be religious, a believer, a Jew, a Christian, or anything, to be socially just. That's in the Bible, and I'll give you the text if you need it. To make that claim that you can only have in America if they're believing to a particular faith or something. Again, I can quote Martin Luther. He's not the one you knew. Martin Luther once said, or is said to have said, "Better be ruled by a smart Turk than a dumb Christian." And that's part of the theology. At the same time, he had a very strong sense that government, getting to be a dirty word, authority, etc., are God's instruments, and they can be instruments for good, and if they go well, it goes well for you. So he brings these words back. Social justice. Very quickly, the debate is today, is it in the Bible? The Bible only talks about you have to give a penny to your neighbor. It's usually about half a penny. And that'll be it. Reread the prophets, which are shared by Jews and Christians, and in a different version, Muslims. Read them. I can't find a page that doesn't support social justice. They're always plural, always speaking to a nation, a people. Isaiah 58, if you'd like to look it up sometime, starts, the people of God are really complaining. You told us to fast, and we're not winning. You told us to pray, we're praying, or are we praying? It didn't work, and we're really the best prayers there are. This is America, but it was also 8th century BC Israel. And then the prophet says, well, all right, you're fasting a lot. You know, when you fast, you get hungry. And when you get hungry, you get crabby. You get crabby, you beat each other up. That's my translation, but you'll find it in Isaiah 58. It's there. Look it up. He says, is that the fast I want? And then says, you don't even notice the widow next door, the children, the hunger, the people who need shelter. You get a whole program of social justice in 6 verses of Isaiah 58. And that is applicable in Judaism, Christianity, and an awful lot of secular people who work for social justice. That was the program. It's run through Christian history as it's run through Jewish history. Jim Wallace is very famous these days for saying that they found 2,000 passages about the poor and about 2 passages that are about pornography in the whole Bible. One guy said, I don't even own a pornograph. 2,000 is only where I use the word poor. If you ask what is the biblical vision of how God is acting, what is prophecy? Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a great martyr to Hitler, said, prophecy is hope projected backward. The prophet gives you a vision you didn't yet have. Health care for everybody. You put that out as a hope, and then you have to work your way into it. You bring the world into kind of arrangement with that. That ran through most of Catholic history, Christian history, Protestant history, and it really got intensified in Catholicism and Protestantism in the 19th century. 1891 for Catholics, a great papal statement, which is used to legitimate labor unions, later on the 40-hour week, etc. In 1919, the Catholic bishops in America put out a statement of that sort, and you could look it up. I have a nice fat book, John Coleman, 100 Years of Catholic Social Teaching, and it is always anchored in the formal teaching of Bible and Catholic history. The Protestants picked it up, first of all, evangelicals in the mid-19th century started an awful lot of this. They got revived, and then what are we going to do with it? A lot of them became abolitionists, etc. And then the social gospel, which gets knocked around a lot these days at the end of the 19th century, said in a world of corporate life, urban life, all the jam of all this stuff, people are going to die, be hungry, unless we find ways to involve more along the way. And that has been revived again in our own time, many kinds of programs of that sort. So it's a word with a long lineage, and I'm really here tonight to say, try to remember its long rootage, also in philosophy, in the founders, who were mainly Christian people, but their philosophy was the Enlightenment philosophy. What did they say? I heard on NPR something beautiful a few weeks ago. I didn't get the name. I was sort of shaving, and you know how you listen. Somebody who said to a doctor, you're retired, and you're giving all these hours to take care of poor, uninsured children. Why do you do it? Because I'm a citizen. That's the founders. That's there, around the founding. So social justice is a great term that has to be reconnected, but it's only interesting when it gets applied to features of life. And I think John Marty is an exemplar of the people who stick their neck out and try to say, we're going to project hope backward in our own time. Thank you for being here.